Alright, how's it going, guys? Sam here with another Nomad survival video, and going along with the video from yesterday, we're going to be going over the second challenge for the third map, Ruined Dungeon. Once you complete both of these challenges, you're going to get the rarest achievement of the game. Currently has the least amount of people that have it, and that is why I'm making this video to help you guys out. So the second challenge is tower defense. The play area is greatly reduced, and by greatly reduced, I mean it's tiny. It's just the hallway where you spawn, and it's not even like half of it. It is absolutely tiny. And then in the center, there's a good crystal. You can't damage the crystal, and all enemies are actually targeting the good crystal. So if that crystal is destroyed, that's how you lose. So you're basically playing like it's called tower defense, and you just want to protect that crystal in the middle. There's no boss enemies, and all projectiles that hit you are absorbed as HP, so that's super nice. So the bad thing is that item pickup range is minimized, and there's no way for you to change that, so it is very hard to actually get the experience. It's not the most enviable thing in the world, and doesn't matter if you pick up item pickup range, doesn't matter if you pick up Emyreal cloak to level 5, there's no way to get that EXP to go towards you, so that's really the hardest situation that you run into. In regards to character, I again am going to go with the Crusader. It's a really good class for this because you want to just stand on top of that crystal. You have to defend it from a lot of projectiles and things like that. And by having the Crusader, it's just a lot easier. You don't have to worry about it. And the other nice thing is that you can pretty much hit the whole play size with the Crusader's aura as well as colorless glyph. So combination of that, very, very important. The other thing is that those specters that spawn occasionally 2 times on the map, they actually target the crystal as well. And those are technically classified as projectiles, so you just need to run into them, and that's going to take care of those. So the Crusader, since you're standing still for the most part, really good at taking care of those as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And so this is the crystal. You just want to stand on top of this. The thing that stinks is, as you can tell, I'm not getting any experience, so at a certain point, you're going to have to move, pick up those EXP crystals. The first couple of minutes, it's not that big of a deal because none of the mobs actually have enough HP to get through the Crusader's aura. But eventually, you will have to pick it up. I'm going to go ahead, wait a little bit. We'll probably resume at around 9 minutes when those specters first spawn, so we can kind of go over that for a second. Okay, guys, so those little specters are about to spawn here. And this is one of the more annoying situations in this game. So the thing that sucks is that some of these are going to get through. It doesn't matter if it looks like you're in their way. The kind of hitbox for this crystal, it's a little bit bigger than your character, so even if you are like doing your best, it's going to be a kind of a pain to block everything. So don't worry about it. Your goal isn't to block all of them, it's just to block the majority. So do your best. Don't worry about it if you don't get every one. If your crystal takes a little bit damage, that's okay. These aren't going to like absolutely just ruin it. It's just annoying. So do your best. If you don't block them all, you're not going to lose. For the most part, nothing is going to damage your crystal outside of these guys. So just try as hard as you can. I actually think getting movement speed buffs makes this harder. It's harder to put your character in the right spot, really. And so I kind of recommend not going any movement speed if you can avoid it. I know with Ascension you get movement speed and that's kind of unavoidable. Ascension it's worth it, so just take those, but for the most part, it's not really that big of a deal. To kind of give you an idea of what the pickup range also looks like, by the way, just so you guys can kind of see how actually bad it is, because it's a very small pickup range, I have to say. So there's that yellow one below me, right? You have to actually walk on top of it, like literally on top of the EXP gem for you to pick it up. So that is probably the most difficult part about this whole challenge, is just it's so hard for you to get experience. So just try and make it to where you pick up kind of every single ability for weapon skills. I mean, there's no bad weapon skill in this situation. You just want to clear things. And then just give yourself some time to kind of get down there to pick things up. Oh, as you can see, there's more projectiles, by the way. So there's 3 times where there's enemies on the map that do shoot projectiles. Just kind of stand in one direction and block as many as you can. Again, you're not going to block all of them. Don't worry about it if you don't. Just do your best, and you're not going to really fail this. It's very hard for you to actually miss so many that you lose the whole game. So it's about not letting your crystal hits 0, it's not about blocking every single damage there is. So just do your best and you're going to be fine. Alright, now here's the second time when these guys are going to spawn. Again, don't worry about getting every single one. Just try and block like 3 or 4 from each little round and you'll be good to go. It's, again, not going to be the end of the world if a couple touch it, but just do your best and you should be good. I'll go ahead and probably skip to like possibly the end, like the last minute or so, because there's not really that much else to go over for this one. It's a very straightforward, simple challenge. It's just a little difficult, so probably skip to like, you know, minute 29 or something, and then we'll kind of do like a full overview of what you need to do really and touch on some of the more important things. So go ahead and skip. I'll see you guys then. Alright guys, coming up on the last minute here, you will get the warning that says the powerful creature approaches, and that actually does reduce the amount of mobs that spawn significantly. So once you get to 29 minutes, it's pretty much over. You don't have to worry about anything anymore. That last boss, the boss doesn't spawn. It's no big deal. It just says that. So overall, this is a very simple and straightforward challenge. It's not super difficult, but there are some things that are very important to make this as easy as possible for you. So first thing, I'll just start by saying I am playing at 200%, so that is why everything is going so fast. So if you don't feel comfortable playing on 200%, definitely just do 100 or just do the normal speed. You don't have to speed it up. I just like speeding it up because 30 minutes is a long time. So for these videos, for the most part, I always just play on 200%. Going into character select, originally before the major update number 5, I did play Necromancer. Necromancer, as you guys know, a really fun class that is great at keeping things away from everything. And so Necromancer is still a very good choice. It's just, it gets significantly better at level 30 when you can pick your upgrade, versus the Crusader is just kind of good the whole time. So I think the Crusader is the best choice for this, and that's because that aura is going to be able to cover the whole crystal. You don't have to worry about too much. It's very simple. At level 30, go ahead and pick the Divine Aura path, and then I like to pick up the aura that doubles in size and makes it just ginormous. You can pick up the other one to deal extra damage, but I like to make sure that nothing even gets close to the crystal, so I think that makes it very easy. In regards to active weapon skills, I think Colorless Glyph is really the only thing I can say that I would say is pretty much unnecessary. Other than that, feel free to pick up every single weapon skill. If you have any preferences, go ahead and pick those up. I think Dagger is a great pickup here because it hits so many enemies. It also has a little knockback. Fireball is fantastic after the buff. It was already really good. Now it's just even better. So Dagger, Fireball, great choices, but you can really pick up any weapon skill. They're all great. You just want to make sure you're dealing damage as often as you can and make sure that nothing gets close to you. So, like, as you can see, I mean, we got 10k souls, so that's a lot of enemies that do spawn. But for the most part, every single weapon skill is good. Passives, EXP I think is really big here because, as you guys saw, picking up experience is actually very difficult. And that's one of the few situations where you'll most likely let your crystal take damage is when you're picking up experience early on. As you can see at the end of the video, I had there was 6 yellow gems down there at the bottom. I wasn't picking it up. I didn't really care. But before you have Colorless Glyph or, you know, your aura, ginormous, or a bunch of weapon skills, you probably can't protect the crystal at the same time that you are able to pick up experience. And that's just because you have to move. It's unfortunate, but for the most part, it's not gonna die. It's not gonna take hundreds of damage. It's just gonna be a little bit. So make sure you go and grab that experience, and by having the XP passive, it's just gonna make those gems that you pick up even more important. Other than that, feel free to pick up any passive that you want. Amount is always fun. Max skill size I think works well with this character. Curse is fantastic as always. SP regen, never a bad time. It was nerfed though, so just be aware that it's not going to be as OP as it was. And then I grabbed Death Sting at the end, so it was only level 1, so Death Sting didn't even play into this at all. This was just like pure damage. And as you can see, I mean, Colorless Glyph again really deals a lot of damage. It's never a bad time, and your weapon aura is actually very important in this. So in regards to where you stand, just stand maybe 1 or 2 characters, like your character size, below the crystal. I don't know why, but for some reason all of the enemies that do throw projectiles actually spawn in the bottom. So when you're standing in that spot, It's pretty much at the degree where all of the enemies can't throw any projectiles at the crystal without hitting you, and since you don't take damage from projectiles, that makes your life pretty much very easy. You just stand there. It's very boring, but it's definitely the easiest way to win the challenge. And then lastly, the most important thing is when those specters do spawn, just do your best. You don't have to worry about it unless like all 5 of them are hitting it every single time. That's the only way you're gonna lose. So just try and get 3 or 4 every single wave, and the crystal's gonna take a little bit of damage. I think mine went down probably like a 4th, maybe a 5th, but it's nowhere close to where it's gonna be like, oh no, I'm gonna die. And it's not about, you know, having a full HP crystal, it's about having HP in your crystal at the end of it. So don't worry about it if your crystal takes damage. Don't get frustrated, just keep playing. You're probably gonna win anyway, so no stress, just nice, calm, happy, you're good to go. If you guys have any questions, definitely let me know down below. There's always better ways to do this. There's always different ways to do this, and feel free to play any character that you want. The most important thing is that you're able to just keep the enemies off the crystal. So if you think you can deal more damage with the Divine, for example, the Divine does fantastic damage and really big AoE damage. Go with the Divine. It's perfectly fine. The colorless glyph is a weapon skill, so you can pick it up on any character. That's the only thing I would say is like required for this one. I think colorless glyph just really does keep those enemies away. But other than that, any character, any heritage, it all works very well. As always, guys, I really appreciate the support. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you made it this far. Other than that, hope you guys have a good day. See you on the next one.